Jelmy, we're starting this very special bonus episode of Two Good Sports at the end because it's the end of the games. The closing ceremony has literally just wrapped up at the time of record.
I can't believe, and we will mention it is halftime because we do have the Para Games coming up and we cannot wait. So we get 2 weeks to get our sleeping schedule back on track because I am tired. Did someone set the alarm on Saturday morning thinking Jess Hull was running at 4 a.m. then and wonder why we're watching the 400 relay? Sure. Did I wake up this morning to watch the entirety of the closing ceremony because I knew that we were talking about it? Absolutely. So let's take you through. We're literally in pajamas. Are they the athletes' pajamas? Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. We have somehow got our hands on some very comfortable PJs just in honour of our athletes eventually touching back down on our shores.
Sponsored by Roving Enterprises. But let us have a look. What did you think of the closing ceremony? First and foremost, just like all of the gold medal predictions, did we or did we not tell you as a fun fact that Tom Cruise would be involved?
We told you it was a potential fact, confirmation, fact. It's a fact, and did we say potentially that he would be rappelling down from the Stade de France? Aha, yeah. Did that happen? Aha, yeah. We are, once again, psychic geniuses. Yep. But before we get to Tom Cruise, Jelmy, I have to admit, I was in and out. I was in and out of the closing ceremony. I was watching, then I wasn't, then I was watching again, then I wasn't. So my notes upon the actual overall event, little bit haphazard. So let's go for it. Number one note that I've written here, golden hummingbird. There seemed to be a whole plot point that I missed, exactly what the context was, but there was a golden hummingbird making its way around a stage, a very, very decorative looking stage, lots of angles, and I'm not exactly sure what it was doing.
Descended via a cable, and I at first thought oh my God, it's Tom Cruise. And he's golden and there's lasers everywhere and this is what happens. But
how did Tom get in Cirque du Soleil?
In true French style, there was apparently it was extraterrestrial.
Oh,
so we're in firstly, we're not on the Seine.
We're not on the We're in the Stade de France. Thank goodness.
So we're watching the exit now. And for me, the closing ceremony gives a vibe of when the year 12s have left school and they've got one more assembly they have to sit through.
Yeah.
Where the principal still has to speak and they're kind of in party mode and they're like, righto, like we're all here, we're all mingling. And that is the amazing thing about the closing ceremony. And it's been since the 50s where someone said, you know what, let's have the athletes all walk in together.
Yeah, and so that happened again.
So you come just arriving as part of your country under your nation's flag, and then they have all the flag bearers come first, and then the athletes just roll on in, and you can tell they are ready to party. They started their own chants at one point.
Oh, I love this.
Unofficial anthem that is na 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 na. Yeah, they all just started launching into it on their own accord.
Yes, I wasn't sure.
And then
I
they had to
confused.
listen to Thomas Bach.
Yeah, I got a bit confused about that because that was a part where I then came back in. So I tapped back into the coverage and I thought, hang on, what's happening here? I've missed some key plot point. Where did that hummingbird go?
Yes.
Then I tapped back out and then tapped back in time to see Phoenix, the band, perform, who everyone would remember the days of Big Day Out and any festival that you used to have gone to. Zoomers, good luck. You don't know who on earth Phoenix is as a band.
I don't.
No, you do.
Honestly, as they were singing,
were everywhere.
I literally said to Kane, I was like, I don't know who this is.
No.
And also, even worse,
Listomania, you know that.
Then Listomania came on and I went, oh, I know this. And I went, oh my God, it's happened. I've become my mother. Yeah. It's happened because this is clearly a band that is so prominent that everyone knows who it is. And then the opening bars of Listomania happened and I was like, oh, this is a banger. I know this one.
They're at the closing ceremony, just makes sense.
What upset me, okay, I've just let everyone know that I'm a loser, point one. But point two, there had been rumours and the expectation, I would go so far as to say the expectation that the icon of the games, Snoop,
Mr. Snoop Doggy Dog,
would be performing at the Stade de France in front of all these athletes that have been obsessed with him, getting photos with him, trading pins with him throughout the last 2 weeks.
Yep, we were carving it in stone. That's going to happen.
And even the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And if I'm an athlete that's just gone through a games, I'm like, I deserve this.
Yeah.
I deserve a front row concert.
My gift after the gift that I gave you with my performance?
Well,
now
Georgie,
it is time for me to be rewarded.
They performed. And thankfully, I know who they are. But,
you saw Anthony Kiedis and you thought, I know you.
It was a pre-record and they were supposedly in a beach in LA.
So here's the
So
thing.
they were nowhere near the stadium. I would have rioted.
Okay, so hang on. Let me get this right. If we're going through just an order of events, we've got the hummingbird. We don't know where the hummingbird goes. Then there is Phoenix. They're playing something.
There's a
not sure what
piano
they're
that
doing.
descends that's very beautiful.
Oh, there is that piano, the floating piano. There was a floating piano. It was all very confusing. I was like, is he playing it live?
But it was beautiful.
How was he doing that? That was exceptional. Kaczynski played a song from Drive, aka one of my favourite movies with Ryan Gosling and Carey Mulligan. And I thought, hello, I know this song. I'm giving you a night call. Basically, it was me being like, he's French. Wow. Oh, my God, they're French. Wow. Incredible. And then we had the moment of the transition. So where we were gifting the games to LA to see what was happening. Tom Cruise abseils his way down to the centre of the stadium.
Absolutely
Absolutely no one steals the Olympic flag. We said he'd steal something. So, I mean, or was
He's
he
on a
given
motorbike
the
at one
flag?
point.
Yeah, at some point. He gave a lovely hug to the GOAT, Simone Biles, who was holding the flag. And then he proceeds to drive through an relatively and surprisingly empty Paris in a pre-recorded section.
Far out.
On a motorbike with the flag before getting to LA and donning. Or what did he do? He base jumped out of a plane to make the Hollywood sign.
Which then
Hollywood
had the
with
game's
5 O's.
rings.
Yes, the
and
game's
I
rings.
thought that was really cool. So they basically had incorporated the 2 O's on the Hollywood sign, which had become the symbol of the games. And I thought, that's clever.
Yeah.
That's Hollywood.
I liked that. And then we went to Venice Beach where, as Jelma, you are right in pointing out.
The greatest concert happened ever in front of 20 extras
20
that were paid
extras.
to dance.
I was like, that's not real people. There's no
It's
way they're real
not.
people in the crowd.
Do you know who were real people? Our athletes that were made to dress like they were private school kids on an excursion. And I'd also like to say that the female colourway looks like a Medicare card. It's really hard when you scan a large crowd and all the Australians aren't together and they're not in green and gold.
You've killed me.
They're in beige safari-style shorts, a belt that no one's worn since the early 90s.
Now the belt. Can we talk about the belt?
No, I can't.
It does, because it does. It's giving Oshkosh Bagosh. Now, that is a neat reference that will only hit
Something I know.
will only hit certain people.
Phoenix, I don't know.
So Oshkosh. Bloody got it.
But
They are hideous.
But meanwhile, the American athletes come out in Ralph Lauren.
Yeah, they look good.
Looking like sexy astronauts.
Yeah, sexy astronauts.
They
And
look so cool and we look so lame.
Yeah, the new hosts of the games, where they're the sexy astronauts that are taking us, the advanced AP class kids off on an excursion around NASA.
Granted, it was still 33 degrees and people had fans, like they were trying to keep themselves cool. So
still
I'm
long
guessing
as
that the
well.
breathable linen was probably very handy for our athletes. But I just thought, oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, really?
Why are we in these colours? They're not even like...
And not everyone, and again, showing that I went to a private high school, not everyone tucked their shirts in. There was no uniformity in how everyone decided to wear this stuff. It just looked so terrible.
For our closing ceremony flag bearers in Kaylee McEwen and Matt Wern, who we've talked about a lot during our Too Good Sports Green and Gold edition, is there a part, do you think, where they're like, oh, I'm in that, I'm wearing that.
Kaylee's Prada glasses can only do so much. They can only try to elevate so much.
I am sad that it wasn't Snoop. I'm sad that we didn't get Snoop live.
It was such a layup.
Yeah.
It was such a layup to have everyone lose their mind.
Yes.
If he had have descended if he had have just walked on.
He could
He
just
doesn't
walked
need
on.
to abseil off anything. He just needs to walk out in the middle.
Yeah.
Or maybe on a dressage horse. Like this stuff
come
writes
on.
itself.
Let's think about that.
Writes
Imagine
itself.
Snoop Dogg, D-O-G-G. God, I was being like Noah Lyles there. Couldn't spell. Imagine being Snoop Dogg just on a dressage horse, getting led by Martha Stewart, his friend, his great friend.
Obviously.
Like, you're right. It does write itself.
But what does bring warmth to your heart is there is something amazing about seeing all of these athletes just clearly release the shackles.
in
'Cause
party mode.
The stress of their lives leading up to this point and how much they would have anticipated their performance. There was also a rendition of We Are the Champions. So DJ read the room very well. So they're all belting out We Are the Champions and swaying together. And again,
Yeah.
it's that blur of different countries. I did. One of my first notes when the athletes were entering was like, gee, this would look prettier at night because they entered while it was still daytime. But then, of course, it descends into night. So you do get
I missed the
all
start.
of the
I
light
didn't know
effects.
that.
I do feel they also handed out what you get at a Taylor Swift concert. One of those
little bracelets.
The wristbands that then light up that give you an idea. And the stage itself was, I think, designed to look like the moon. There was movement. There was
I got confused about the stage because when I was looking at it, I was like, hang on a second, are they all the continents of the world? And they've done it in like an abstract version. But then when they zoomed out, it kind of looked like a dog holding a scepter.
Yeah. And
I was confused.
There was the return of our masked vigilante.
Oh,
so he came back because the golden guys come down. So he's back flipping around. There's a Greek flag. There's a lot of things going on. But essentially, I'd love to go to a closing ceremony. Yeah. If I was ever going to fake being an athlete, I'd go in there and be like, woo! Do
you know what I think they nailed? They absolutely nailed with the closing ceremony is that they farewelled Paris with an high art interpretation of an ancient myth that no one really quite understood.
Yes.
And don't you think that really
and then
just
went to a beach
up?
in LA and went, this you get. May as well have had Katy Perry come out and sing California Girls and just be done with it.
Can I just say the cleanest I've ever seen that Venice beach look. Yeah. The cleanest it has ever looked.
But Snoop and his lack of performance at the Stade de France, we say he should have been there because he's one of the icons of the games. And, George, we have been so busy talking through all of the Australian medals because it has rained.
Yeah.
We haven't had a chance to talk about some of the things that are really sports news told differently.
You're so right.
And one of those has to be the Turkish assassin.
Yeah, the Turkish shooter came silver. Our mate Yusuf is what we're calling him.
Oh, Yusi.
He won silver in the shooting. And, I mean, this is, Jelmy, one of those rare times where I can't tell you who won the gold.
Oh, no, you can't.
I don't care who won the gold because you know what? That silver is gold. He won the games. He won the games with his celebration.
If you haven't seen this image, where have you been? Because it has gone to the point where he has infiltrated celebrations of athletes around the world. Nina Kennedy did it. Our mate Mondo did it. The Jamaican who won the discus did it. So basically, it's where you look super relaxed. Mm-hmm. You put one hand in your pocket and you make the other one a pistol because the guy had absolutely no equipment and looked so nonchalant on his way to silver while everyone else looked like they had half a hardware store on their head trying to help them. So
this
that
was the thing,
was
right?
what made it iconic.
It looked like, I mean, Google Glasses or whatever, whoever's trying to bring out the next thing. It's
totally.
Like
virtual reality stuff.
Virtual reality. Good luck. Everyone's using everything to try and live in the matrix. And then old mate just comes out with his reading glasses and goes, bam!
And he's
silver.
he's not someone that looks model-esque. No. He looks like someone's dad that came to pick him up from a party and said, "Where's my daughter?" And you're like, "Sorry, Yusuf."
Yeah.
Like he looks like someone that you do not want to mess with. But I say this because Jordan Clark from Fremantle is using that celebration
it's
in the AFL now.
When does it get too old? When does it get too old?
Oh,
I mean, for him, never. He's allowed to do it whenever. It's actually also genuinely his technique for shooting. But when is it too old for regular folk?
I reckon it'll probably the end of the Para Games.
Yeah, okay.
I reckon it's going to have its circuit and have its time, but you never know. It could go beyond that. But in terms of icons to come from the games, he certainly has to be one.
He's up there. I think something else, Jelmy, because, of course, the city of love, that's another term that we used to describe Paris. And another iconic, I've got that in quotation marks because I'm not sure how I feel about, well, actually, I do know how I feel about this. Iconic thing we saw at the games was a lot of proposals, a lot of marriage proposals for athletes. And I hate it. I just hate it. I hate it so much.
You know how I feel about this. It reminds me of the time that someone during a test match at the Gabba proposed to their partner in the pool, and I just went,
oh my God,
places,
not the pool.
In the pool.
The cricket.
And we actually saw over the weekend a proposal in the AFL.
No.
For Melbourne.
No.
That's happened.
No.
So it is not.
Have you been? I have gone to Broncos games before where they've proposed and they've said no.
There was a no.
Oh, there were multiple no's.
I'm sorry. If you're proposing in front of
multiple no's. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I sounded like Yoda.
It's
multiple no's there are.
But if you're proposing at a football game or you see it and I guess this sort of originated from the US where there's sort of the Jumbotron or you're up on a big screen and it can be organised. Yeah. But for me, something about the Olympics where it's it's
a sacred space.
I would like to highlight Alice Finot, the French steeplechase runner for the 3,000 metres. She then, at the end of her race, proposed to her partner, and it went viral because the Olympics posted it. And her quote was, "I ran under 9 minutes, and 9 is my lucky number. We've also been together for 9 years, so I thought I'd do it." If I'm the partner, I'm like, wait, so you run 10 and you don't drop a knee? Like, how circumstantial
it hung in the
is this?
balance so much, our future.
And also, everything about the lead up to this month hasn't been about me, babe. Like, what?
I hate it so much. I remember we saw it at the badminton. We also saw it after the rhythmic gymnastics, where in my mind it's ingrained.
Oh, one of them was on a podium.
Oh, an athlete from Italy. She literally just got off the podium and her partner drops to a knee. And I think she said, yes, look, each to their own. It could be the happiest moment of their lives. If someone did that to me, automatic no. I am on a podium. This has nothing to do with you. It is about my relationship with the sport that I have dedicated my life to, and that's been in my life for far longer than you. Get out of my space. This is the time for me. I am so mad about it all of it. I hate it.
I love the idea of you stepping back onto the podium to use it as your soapbox. Just say no. They drop a knee and you get up and go, absolutely not. No. And look,
No.
I completely agree with you. The fact that you can't wait a week just
down.
to let everything
Just give it
settle
one
down and to
moment.
not. But we do need to go through some honourable
There were so
mentions
many.
of some things that we love talking about.
Yeah.
The guy that became obsessed with the chocolate muffins in the village.
That's right.
To the point where people have now created hacks of what you can do with a Coles or a Woolworths cake.
I would say that also, do you think that those countries just eat a lot healthier than us? Because I feel like our ones at Woolies and Coles are just
as
delicious.
good.
They're just as good. They're just as good. But this was all because the athletes, there was a lot, many a TikTok, about just how shit the food was.
Totally. And the beds and the experience it might be eco, but I'd like some air conditioning, please.
Exactly.
Yep.
So therefore, a mate, I think he was was he Dutch? He was Christensen. That sounds Dutch.
Yep.
Ish. Anyway, he was a swimmer and he went viral for doing his reviews on food, and then he decided that the chocolate muffin was the greatest thing that he'd ever eaten. It
exploded.
It exploded. So much so that the village then had to release a statement. They thought that they were going to in the end, I think it was bake 100,000 of these because 2,000 were being consumed a day. At one point, it was really hard to even get them because they'd gone so viral.
It doesn't scream athletes, does it?
It doesn't. It really, really doesn't. So obviously, honourable mention to the icon that was Chocolate Muffin Man. Are you the Muffin Man? He is the
Pommel
Muffin
Horse
Man.
Guy, our next honourable mention. He was part of the USA gymnastics team that was such a nerd that I think he can complete the Rubik's Cube in under 20 seconds.
Under 10.
Under 10.
Under 10. He does it for fun as a way to take his mind off his nerves.
But the
heading into
reason why
competition.
everyone fell in love with him was that he wears glasses, so he looks like Clark Kent, and then he just takes them off. And the only discipline that he competes in is the pommel horse. And my God, does he own the pommel horse? And all of the United States has just gone, who's Clark Kent that we only pull out for this one discipline that helped them medal? It was amazing.
So funny. And the reason that he takes his glasses off is because he does have a pretty serious vision impediment. He's cross-eyed. It has a fancy scientific name. But essentially, he's cross-eyed. And obviously with the pommel horse, fair bit of jerking kind of movements there. You can't hold glasses on your face. So what it is, he actually can't really see what he's doing. It's all feel. It's all feel when he's on the horse.
And you need to see how good he is at this discipline.
Oh, it's incredible.
It's very impressive.
It's incredible.
People that wouldn't look impressive on a pommel horse, the guy in the swimming that had the colourful Speedos and the very average physique.
A dad bod.
After
Dad bod.
2 weeks of watching swimmers where you're like, you could bounce a coin off any part of any of their bodies. Like they are just 0% body fat.
Yes, but
He had to go and retrieve a cap.
Not all heroes wear capes, Jelmy. They only indeed wear those colourful Speedos because I never actually thought or spared any second to think about lots of the athletes wear double caps because apparently it saves them, 0.01 of a second, right? But all of those
the resistance
count.
on the goggles then is lower, so they might not have water resistance.
What happens if one of those caps falls off and then it's stuck in the pool? Oh, my God. Delay. You can't have athletes diving in there.
They nicknamed him Bob. No one knows if that's actual name, but they're like, Bob had to go in and swim. And
Also,
like the whole
he could
crowd.
have just had a regular pair of Speedos on.
No.
He did not need to have that many colours on them.
It reeked of like, we need you to get in. And he's like, oh, but I've only got my colourful jocks. I did not know today was going to be the day.
So he is another icon. And just quickly, a final honourable mention to a story that really captured our hearts. And I know that romance writers everywhere have already got a first draft in the works because the tennis lovers who won the mixed doubles Oh my goodness. They'd been together 4 years, broken up in the lead up. There were two Czech athletes, broke up in the lead up to the games. So they wanted to focus more on their individual careers, but they'd already committed to competing in the mixed doubles. They win gold.
And they embrace, and you're like, tell me you're not back in love.
Yeah. Hang on a second.
Tell me that you're not. Already in my head, I'm like, mixed doubles, mixed feelings. Is that the headline? Like, what are we, or do you have to do a pun? Do you have to do a pun on love? I don't know. But this, again, because we've been so focused on the athletic outcome, there are little things that Georgie and I have had a twitch to talk about. And if you can't tell, there's some of them. But that is the beauty of the games, is if someone had told you at the start of this adventure in Paris that it would be a Turkish shooter that won silver, that would become the icon of the games, and Snoop Dogg, I really would have wondered what happened.
Late entry for the icon status. Ray Gunn, the greatest breaker that you've ever seen. Choreographed by Chris Lilly and Kath Day-Knight on the world stage, jumping around as a kangaroo. Now, there's been a lot said about Ray Gunn.
And breaking at the games as a general.
And breaking at the games. It's not going to be there in LA. Everyone calm down. It's not going to be there in LA. But really, I would say it wasn't the best spectacle that I've ever seen at an Olympics. And Ray Gunn's performance, if we're just being objective and we're just being blunt, wasn't in the top 1,000,000% or any kind. She's not making it into any step-up film is my review.
I find this whole story really uncomfortable because I'm always someone that thinks if people are laughing at and not with someone on a really big stage, it makes me super uncomfortable.
Yes.
And the fact that this is her discipline and, as Anna Mears said, she is the best breakdancer that Australia has that we've sent to participate and represent our country. The fact that she's been really made the butt of a joke. She's an icon. She's an icon.
She's an
for
icon.
all the reasons that you don't expect someone to be.
Yes, but then there's also layers to this because she's an academic. She's studying breaking. That's how she initially got into it.
She used to be a classical dancer.
Yeah, she studies the
layers.
cultural phenomenon about it.
I just think at the end of the day, she's an Olympian and who the hell are we? But my God, am I glad it's not featuring in LA, because when you think about some of the gold that we've seen, I think a gold for breaking just shouldn't be in the same category.
Another reminder here, and I think I'm contractually obliged as a friend of Liz Ellis, netball's not in the Olympics. So let's just keep it that. And final word on the breaking should go to our other Aussie competitor, Jay Attack, who said, I had a lot of fun even though I was slaughtered. Goodbye, breaking.
So just to summarise, we like surfing, we like skateboarding because we're good at them, but breaking can absolutely get on its bike. It can go.
But what an iconic games.
Honestly, iconic games is the highlight. If I think of Paris top line, I think of a blue Smurf on a plate.
Oh, yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Has to be there.
Has to be there.
Léon Marchand, who we actually didn't mention from the opening ceremony, but he was the one that went and got the flame for the cauldron at the start.
Yes, for them to extinguish the flame. It was a lovely touch.
A lovely touch.
And the chant of Lyon went up through the stadium was great.
And it would be the most spectacular venue at the base of the Eiffel Tower. That will be the visual for me, the beach volleyball and going how they pulled off venues that just seem so stunning. Mm-hmm. I will forever be upset that we didn't get Snoop at the Stage of France, but that's okay. That's okay.
That's okay. But I'm truly excited for what's going to be LA because it's going to be the most extra Hollywood vibe.
I'm also excited for the fact that tomorrow drops our wrap-up ep of all of, we're going to do a summary of basically the medals that we won, how Australia went. We're going to be talking about Jess Hull because while we didn't have an episode over the weekend, my God, I need to talk about it.
A lot happened.
But please check us out tomorrow because we are going to put a neat bow on. We're going back to the actual outcomes. We're talking back about athletes. We're not going to be talking about chocolate muffins. It's going to be all about green and gold. Well, apparently we're going to find out.